What's up, people? This is Cadillac Easy, and welcome to the last video of the Paladins Basics series. And so far we've talked about the champions, loadouts, and talents. But now we're going to be talking about the Paladins in-game item shop, which is a huge component for countering the enemy team. Throughout each game, you will earn credit points based on your performance. And every time you're inside your respawn location, you can press the store button to access the item store to buy defensive, utility, healing, or offensive items that will enhance your champion for that game. You can choose up to 4 items that go up to 3 levels. And now I will go into detail about each item and their levels to help you understand them more, so that you can purchase these items yourself instead of having the game automatically pick the items, which is a beyond bad idea. So you should change that in your settings. First up are the defensive items. Haven is one of the most important items in this category because it reduces incoming direct attacks by 7%, 14%, or 21%. This is good for when you expect to be shot by incoming bullet fire or damage that is shot directly at you. Then there is Blast Shields, which is like Haven, except that it reduces damage from incoming area of attack damage by 7%, 14%, or 21%, such as explosions from Bomb King, Dredge, Eevee, Pip, Ashe, Drogos, or Willow. And if you want to reduce the amount of crowd control that you're receiving from the enemy team, like any sort of stun or cripple, you should buy Resilience, which reduces the CC by 30%, 60%, or 90%. The last defensive item is Illuminate, which allows you to see stealth champions from a farther distance by 20, 40, or 60 units. This item should only be bought if the enemy team has a Skye, Shaolin, or Strix. The next category is utility items, where Chronos can reduce the cooldowns of all your abilities by 10%, 20%, or 30%. This is especially useful for champions with long cooldowns, and is a good item to buy if you're a support character. As for the Nimble item, it increases your champion's base movement by 10%, 20%, or 30%. This item is good for champions that don't have any movement abilities, or just in general for frontline tanks, like Terminus, Torvald, Makoa, or Inara. Then there is Morale Boost, which increases the ultimate charge you receive by 15%, 30%, or 45%, and allows you to reach your ultimate much faster. This item is especially good with champions that have a game-changing ultimate, such as support champions, damage, and flank champions. The last utility item is Master Riding, which enhances the speed of your horse when trying to get back to the action by 15%, 30%, or 45%. Personally, I don't buy this item that much unless I really want to get back into action on a large map or have a support or tank ultimate. Now we're going to be talking about the healing items. First is Rejuvenate, which allows you to receive 10%, 20%, or 30% more healing from teammates. This is especially important when your enemy buys Cauterize, which limits the healing you receive. Rejuvenate is a great item for tanks because it allows them to sustain themselves more in a team fight. Then there's Veteran, which increases the amount of health you receive while out of combat by 4%, 8%, and 12% of your max health. This item I never generally buy because I expect to always be in combat at any moment. Third item is Kill to Heal, which will heal you for 300, 600, or 900 health every time you get an elimination. This is a good item to have as a damage or flanking champion, or someone that gets a lot of eliminations. Meanwhile, the last healing item is Life Rip, which gives you 10%, 20%, or 30% lifesteal, meaning you steal part of the health that is taken from damaging enemies. This item is a very good way for staying alive during a fight. And last but not least is offensive items. Cauterize is one of the most important items in the game that I explained a little bit about earlier. But to recap, Cauterize reduces the amount of healing an enemy can receive by 30%, 60%, or 90% for 1.5 seconds. This card is imperative for countering the enemy support, so it is usually a great item to buy as a damage, flank, or a tank looking to neutralize the enemy team. The next item is Wrecker, which dramatically increases the damage that you deal to enemy shields by 75%, 150%, or 225%. This card is good for shredding through tanks that like to put up shields, like Barrack, Torvald, Fernando, Ashe, Khan, or Makoa. Second to last item is Deft Hands, which increases your reload speed by 20%, 40%, or 60%. This card is useful for decreasing long reload animations, and mostly benefits Maldamba's stun reload, Dredge's reload blast, shotguns, or snipers. Now the last item in the game is Bulldozer, which gives you increased damage against deployables such as Barrack's turrets, Anura's wall, Grok's healing totem, and Amani's dragon by 50%, 100%, or 150%. This is all the items you can get in the in-game item store, and when to potentially use them. So I hope you enjoyed the video and understand the basics after watching this Paladin series. Next video, we're going to get into the action, and we're going to start a new series called Default Loadouts, where I'm going to go through each character. I will try and review each default loadout that Paladins gives you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then press that like button, subscribe, or leave a comment. Peace.